Preston Lord's death put a spotlight on the bigger issue of teen-on-teen violence in the East Valley.
Earlier this year, Gilbert put a subcommittee together to look for solutions to this problem. Casey Torres is live in Gilbert, where the subcommittee gave an update at the town council meeting that just wrapped up about an hour ago. Casey.
Now, tonight we heard from members of the subcommittee on teen violence, and they say they have a handful of action items and will be having a 3-hour meeting next week to put together a final report they'll be presenting to the town council later this month. And if you remember, in January, the town council voted unanimously to create a subcommittee to find solutions on combating teen violence in the East Valley. There's been a total of 4 meetings with people who live in the community attending and giving their own ideas. Tonight, a couple of people in attendance telling the council during public comment that the teen violent meetings, they felt that they were truly listened to there and their suggestions were heard and concerns as well. But others also talking at the meeting tonight, anxious to find out the recommendations and specific solutions that will be presented to the council later this month.
Since the Teen Violence Committee has come to an end, after months of gathering solutions, it's time for our leaders to rise up and take immediate action. We cannot turn a blind eye to teen violence, nor the struggles our teens face every day.
The women you heard from and 2 others also asking the council to create an ordinance banning brass knuckles that have been reportedly used in teen assaults. A bill to outlaw brass knuckles was proposed at the state level but died in the Senate. And Gilbert Police Chief Michael Soberg also saying tonight that the investigation into the Gilbert goons is still active and that he is looking forward to hearing the recommendations from the subcommittee. And that is set to happen 2 weeks from tonight in the next town council meeting. Reporting live in Gilbert, Casey Torres, Arizona's Family.
Casey, thank you for the updates from that meeting.